Hi, everybody. Miss Kate here from Modern Motion Dance School, and I am here with four of my five fabulous moms that I'm going to be talking to for our Women Crush Wednesday series that we are doing for Women's Month. So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves really quickly. We'll start with Erin.
Hi, my name is Erin Kibala. I'm a mom of two girls, Emily, who is 10, and Elizabeth, who is 7. Well, they're almost 10 and almost 7. Their birthdays are coming up. And I'm a police officer at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. And my daughter, Elizabeth, is a student of Modern Motion. She attends virtually. And Miss Haley is her teacher, who's awesome, by the way, Kate. And yeah, that's me.
Awesome. I'm also going to note that Erin and I have known each other for 20 plus years since college.
Yeah, from our Rutgers days. So yeah.
So we go way back. Okay, so next we'll go to Hyatania.
Hi, I'm Hyatania Jones, and I have three children. I have a 15-year-old son, and I have twins, a boy and a girl, Hunter and Halea. They are almost 13. And my daughter, Halea, has been with Modern Motion since she was, I believe, 5 years old. So we've been part of the family for a long time. She loves dancing, tap, jazz, hip hop. For my occupation, I'm a dean of students at our local middle school here. So very busy, very busy job juggling.
I didn't realize you were the dean of students.
Yeah, I'm the dean of students now. This is my second year in that position. And like I said, it's a lot of juggling.
I bet.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
Oh, good. Good. Okay, next we'll go to Danielle.
Hello, I am Danielle Knight. I am a mom of two. I have a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old. My 14-year-old has been with Modern Motion since she was about 5 years old, so she's coming up on about 10 years with the studios. Professionally, I am a HR manager for a pharmaceutical company here locally in town.
That's awesome. And Dijha.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Dijha Allen. I am mom of two girls who both attend Modern Motion. Olivia is 8 and Avery is 5. And I think Olivia has been at Modern Motion since about 5 years old, I want to say. Yeah, so I've been with the school for quite some time. And I think Miss Kate, I call you Miss Kate.
That's fine.
I think you were Olivia's first teacher.
I was.
Yeah, I just thought about that. Yeah, so
that's why when I'm in her classes, I'm like, you can't possibly be this old. But it's the same with Jocelyn, and it's the same with Alea. And
I know.
Jocelyn was reminding me last night that they will be going to the high school next year, and I was like, no, that's impossible.
He will be, yeah.
I'm not. Okay
it's crazy how time flies. It's just insane.
Absolutely.
So a little bit more about me. I am my day job. I work in higher education, actually at Rutgers University as an academic advisor. And I also have a side gig where I am a health coach, primarily working with women with their health and wellness goals. So.
That's awesome. I also wanted to mention that Hyatania and Danielle's dancers are also part of my ambassador program. So they are also here doing above and beyond with helping with events and helping with the studio, plan things. So that's really cool too. And I definitely appreciate them and their help. Okay, so we're just gonna do some awesome women's chatting. I'm just gonna ask you guys a couple questions that have been on, I think, everybody's mind recently. I know for me, I have a 8-month-old and a 5-year-old, and my life is crazy. And I basically stay at home or take the older one to school or come to the studio, and that's basically my life. So I wanted to talk to you guys because I wanted to see how you're doing in this time and what you're doing. Mostly, I'm interested in everybody's what you do to keep yourself sane, what you do. I have a really good way of preaching what people should do. for mental well-being, for physical well-being. I just don't listen to myself very well. And so I wanted to open up a discussion about that. So my first question to anybody who would like to answer is, how has COVID changed the way you take care of yourself, mentally, physically? How do you take care of your family? How do you juggle the career, the family, the downtime, are you getting back into taking your kids to things, or are we still being more reserved? Those kinds of things. So anybody want to jump in there?
Yeah, so for me, I've always been a remote worker, even pre-COVID. So I know a lot of people were, in the office and they were remote during COVID, and, now people are transitioning back into the office. I have always been a remote worker, so I've always been home. Obviously, March 2020, once the kids were home as well, honestly, I wanted to bang my head against the wall. It was it was rough, just to have, literally a house full of people. So, I can work from the dining room, I can work from my office, I can work from the bed, but when everyone is here, it was kind of hard just to find that quiet place, especially if you're on a conference call, or, if you're doing anything related to work. So for me, the good thing about my job, for the most part, as long as I'm addressing needs that need to be addressed, as long as I'm getting things done, it's fine. I don't have a typical 9 to 5 where I have to be in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. So when I get to that point where I need a break, I do just that. I will walk away from my computer. I will walk out of this house, take a walk, down the block, around the corner. My husband knows that, if it gets to a point where they all start to drive me crazy, I will very easily book a hotel room. And I don't care if it's right down the road, right down in New Brunswick. I will book a hotel room and I will pack a bag and, go stay in a room just to, kind of give myself that breather, just to get away. Because again, when you go from working at home and being, in your own office to having a family of 4 at home in your face, kind of nonstop. What's for breakfast? What's for lunch? What's for dinner? Can I have a snack? Can I do this? She's bothering me. She's hitting me. She won't get out of my room. Sometimes I just need to literally physically get away. And so if that means, me leaving out of the house, whether it's a walk around the block or a hotel stay down the block, then that's what I do, just to keep my sanity. And it makes us all just get along that much better.
That's awesome that you figured that out. That's awesome.
And
Anybody else?
as I am speaking and talking to you, I have one, again, there is no one room in the house that you can have to yourself, because I have one that is literally next to me right now. I don't want to go downstairs. So, again, there is no room where you can just go in and close the door, because they will find a way, even as I'm having this discussion with you now, to come in.
I have that same thing with Thomas, because usually my meetings are with Ginger, who is his honorary Aunt Ginger, right? Or, when Dustin was with us, he was very fond of Dustin. And so he assumes that whoever I'm talking to is also there to talk to him. And so he is constantly like, even when I have it in my ears, he's like, yeah. And I'm like, they can't hear you, baby. And then they say hi to him and he can't hear it. So he's like, and I'm like, and I have a very small house. I was telling all the women before that my nursery is also my office. So the changing table is right behind my desk. So luckily I don't have to have any professional phone calls that nobody understands about being a mom or a dad or somebody that's in the house. So that's a huge blessing. I think that's something that's really going to change in society too, is that people are now used to, like, you are working from your house and your work is not separate from your house. I think it's a blessing and a curse too, because I really treasure my space of this is where I do work and that is where I do family, but it's had to mold together. So I think that can be a real struggle. And I definitely agree with the whole, like, getting out of the house. I've started walking Thomas to school just so I could walk home by myself, and then walking to pick him up by myself. The parents are like, oh, you're really like into this. I'm like, no, I just need 10 minutes of peace. without a baby crying and without this one asking me a million questions. So it's better than being in my car for a 3-second drive to get a 10-minute walk. Erin, I think you had your hand up.
Oh no, it just with the pandemic and everything, me being a police officer, I had to go to work, but I also work in an administrative role. So to mitigate exposure, our department was doing, you were at work for a certain period of time and then you were at home on administrative leave. But during my administrative leave time, I still had to work. So I would relish my 2 weeks where I was in the office because I was in the office. I was in my workspace to where I can accomplish that one function without, mommy, I need help with this assignment. I don't understand. I was like, you can raise your hand in class and your teacher can help you. Kindergarten on the internet was very interesting. It was quite the challenge. Elizabeth did really well with it, but and God bless her teacher. Good grief. But when I was home trying to do my job, and then my husband was also home in the mornings because he works evenings, I was dealing with my husband going, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? You want to have lunch? Why can't he not understand? Just as much as the kids not understanding that I was in mode, I was in the zone and I needed to be left alone kind of mentality. So this transition back to full-time has been kind of like a blessing because I have that separation. So it's helped with my headspace a lot more. I was having a hard time separating home and work when I was working from home because it was right there at the other table where my phone was binging with emails and ringing with phone calls. And I felt like I had to answer while I was at home. So it's the transition back to the office has been fantastic, but it's been stressful at work because I work at the Capitol. So it's been a crazy year. So yeah, just challenges all around.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I applaud you, Erin, for the Capitol work and the teachers that are like Hyatania. I don't know if you can add to this, but I have so many teachers, so many friends who are teachers who are just, thank God that they are dedicated people. And that's, I feel like this has been like a way to weed out people who are maybe in it for the wrong reason, but also we are like really coming down on our teachers. And I'm like, I keep asking my son's teachers, like, what do you need? What do you need? I don't want to give you a gift for Christmas and then you spend it on classroom stuff. I will buy classroom stuff and I will give you a gift. Like, I feel like whatever we can do to support those kids, those teachers right now is one of the top priorities.
We need glue sticks, and like 3 moms replied, I got it. It's been great because they get it. Like my mom was an educator, so she never got this, like she never got the parents chipping in or whatever. So this is really great that people are starting to recognize the importance of educators and supporting them where they need it. It's I don't know.
I was gonna say, are you seeing that, or is it more like you're still having?
Or is it more of like finicky?
50 at least now.
No, it's just been very, very, very challenging. I mean, I think middle school is a challenging age anyway. And now to add the pandemic on top of it with mask restrictions and all of these other restrictions, it's very challenging. We have students who, they want to follow the rules. They want to be there and enjoy their social time. I would say I think a lot of kids are enjoying the fact that they're back in person and they can see their friends. But we're just having a lot of, I guess you would say, emotional and mental issues with students because they were out of in-person school for a while. So it's now trying to come back and, oh, really? I have to listen to the teacher? And you mean I can't just tell the teacher whatever I want to tell her and walk out of the classroom? No, that's not
turn my camera off anymore.
Yeah, right.
Right, exactly. I really have to deal with this now. Yes, you have to deal with it.
Right.
So I teach a class. It's called Leadership Mindset. It's the one class that I teach, and it's like the brightest time of my day. It's like I get to just
Aw.
be in a classroom with 12 kids who just want to be there, and we sit there and we get to know each other, and we talk about how we're feeling, and we talk about, just leadership, and we play music, and we just do like calming exercises, yoga sometimes. It's just a nice one period time of the day. The rest of the day, it's like, woohoo!
Oh.
Kids everywhere. There is no turn off. I know
Right.
I hear some of you saying, you can turn it off. There is no turn off. I try not to bring that stress at home with my own kids. It's very difficult. um, they're not as needy because they're getting older, so they are
Mhm.
more independent. My husband's in between jobs, so thank goodness he's actually home, so he's able to pick them up, he's able to drop them off. My twins, they go to school with me, which is a blessing. I love the fact that I'm there with them.
Yeah.
I can keep an eye on everything with them. So just for myself, to take care of myself, I try to make it a point to go get my hair done. Maybe every 3 weeks. I get my nails done every 3 weeks. I'll go out for a walk, like you were saying, Miss Kate, just to get out and get away. Miss Danielle, I would love to have that hotel.
Ooh, that sounds
That hotel
fantastic.
idea. I'm loving that. I know.
That's awesome. I
I don't
love
know if I
that.
can. I don't know if my husband would
Yeah.
go for that, but
Can't give her
um,
a choice.
yeah, I might have to suggest that. But
Yeah.
just and spending family time, like we before the pandemic, we were like a big movie family. We'd go out, we travel.
Mm.
So we don't do that as much anymore because of the pandemic. But now that things seem to be getting better, we have been slowly, you know, doing more of those things, and just being together, I think helps, and just trying to separate the two. Like I said, it is difficult to separate the two. I'm getting emails. I've told myself no more checking emails when you get home, but I still find myself sometimes looking at the phone. Oh, let's see if this parent, responded back, and let's see what the
I do
principal
the
has to
same
say about
thing.
such and such. Yeah. So
And I found that if I gave myself a time limit, like my
yeah.
boys start to wind down. They go to bed much later than probably every other kid in the world. But so like 8:30, 9 o'clock is when we start like bath time and everything. So I've learned like 9 o'clock is my cutoff to stop checking my work
Yes.
email. And because I used to sit like on the edge of my bed before bed and like check my work emails, and I'm like, then I'm just stressed out about, oh, what do I have to do? And oh, should I respond right now? And I'm like, I'm not in a mindset at 11 o'clock at night I'm like,
Right.
totally brain dead at that point. So don't send
Yeah.
emails, don't do that. But I did have to train myself on that because I definitely could not turn off. I got home, and because I work from home and at the
Yeah.
studio, I couldn't ever turn it off. And I was like, oh, I have to answer this right now, or I have to take care of this right now. And it's just not, Russell just said, awesome. Your husband.
I agree with that. My husband?
Yeah,
He's
he
on
just
there?
responded.
Oh.
He said, awesome. See the little chat
Oh my
going.
God. I think it helps too that, like you, Miss Kate, we have there's bedtime for the kids. We instilled this when they were little. So, 9:30, everybody's in bed, and then that's time for the two of us, to watch something together if I'm not falling asleep on the couch.
Yes,
Or,
I know,
just
it's hard to
to
stay awake, right?
debrief. Yeah, just to
Yes.
debrief with each other, have, a little moment together without the kids. That also helps, to keep me sane. And all right, tomorrow's a new day. We can do this.
I had a friend who always preached that she and her husband would, when the kids were in bed, didn't matter how tired they were, they'd take 20 minutes and then talk to each other about their day so that they could reconnect as a couple. And I think that's so important. And I try. Try. Sometimes when one won't go to bed and the other one's already asleep next to me in his crib, I'm like, oh, I got to go to sleep. I can't wait up. But I think
it'll get better when they get older. When they get older, it'll get better.
Absolutely. I was very spoiled with my first. My second does not sleep like my first did. So, but Dijha, I want to hear from you too. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, just what you just said. My husband and I are actually currently working to implement that, at least 15 minutes at the end of the night, to connect. And I will say this doesn't always happen. We're still trying to implement that because I often fall asleep in the room with my kids. And it's hard sometimes to wake up from that. And I try to set an alarm so I don't end up staying in there all night. Yeah, so that's definitely something we're trying to implement. But I will say, the past 2 years have been just unbelievably challenging. And I would say I probably hit a very low point towards like the beginning of the pandemic. My youngest was a preschooler and she was in daycare at that time. The daycare closed. And so she was just home. I mean, they were both home, but the difference is at least Olivia was in kindergarten. So she was actually at least on the computer
Right.
doing some kind of learning, and she was a little older, and it was still difficult. But I think the hardest part was having Avery being so young during this time. And so it's definitely gotten better. I am back to work. I'm in the office a couple days a week, and I just learned so much about what I need during this time. So it's really just taught me that it is an absolute priority to take care of myself, to take time to myself, because I felt like I was going crazy, and I was doing just way too much screaming, and then apologizing after, feeling guilty. And it just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to calm down. This is not good. So I just started being just more intentional about taking out time for myself. One thing I noticed is that it was so important for me to like wake up before everyone else gets up, and if I don't have any other time, the morning is at least a time where I can like be by myself, have quiet time, whatever it might be. It might be just as simple as taking a hot shower, which it's the little things sometimes, like just being able to take a hot shower without my kids coming in, opening the shower curtain and asking me what I'm doing. Like that was like everything, so it just taught me, listen, you got to take time out for yourself. And kind of just, I did a lot of reflection on what it is that I needed to make myself feel a little bit more sane and a little bit more balanced. And I also learned that I am not meant to be at home all the time with my kids. Like, and I admire women or parents that can do that. I'm like, oh no, this is not for me. It was bittersweet when it's time for me to return to the office. I was like, yeah, as much as I feel a little bit nervous about it, this is going to be good for me. Like, I know, Erin, you were saying like that time when you got to go into the office was like a good time. I can honestly say I feel the same way. Getting out and just being able to interact with others and talk. And yes, like in-person conversations with my colleagues, that was amazing. And I just felt like I was just much more calm when I got back home after being in the office all day. So
yeah. Danielle, did you have something to add to that? Were you waving your hand?
No, I was waving Jocelyn to get out.
I have like a 45-minute commute when I drive to work, and I have another 45-minute commute when I drive home. So I've taken to, curating playlists for myself, or listening to an audiobook, or listening to a podcast. I have a habit of listening to true crime podcasts, but it's just, I have a friend who lives in North Carolina who she'll tell me, you got to listen to this one. And then I'll listen to it on my drive home. It's that time for me to just get a little dose of entertainment, even if I'm driving, which is unfortunate, it's my commute or whatever, but I'm by myself in my car, and in the morning it's great because I got my coffee and I got my music, and it's early in the morning, so traffic's not as bad, and I'm going along. So it kind of helps me set my mindset. Look, going home, not so much, but
traffic doesn't make anybody less at ease.
No, but DC traffic is no joke. Like I used to complain when I lived in New Jersey about the traffic being, it took me 20 minutes to get home today. And now I have a 45-minute to an hour commute. It's like, I had no idea.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's funny. DJ was saying you realize what you needed, and I had the same. I had like a huge wake up call. Like of course I had a baby in June, we had like the 1 week where they like lifted things at the hospital right before we had our son, so we were able to like walk around. My husband could like leave the room. He couldn't leave the hospital. We couldn't have visitors, but he could walk the halls. Like that was like a new thing. And then I had, of course, postpartum, and but I ended up having, I was yelling and screaming all the time. And then I took a hot shower at night and I walked to my bedroom, and I ended up having a muscle spasm so bad in my back that I couldn't stand up straight. And the next day the doctor was like, well, you're nursing, so we can't give you a lot of medication. We can like give you these couple of things. But I was like, but he's like, so did you sleep on it? And I was like, no, I took a hot shower. And he's like, what? And I was like, I took a hot shower and then I got a terrible muscle spasm that felt like a pinched nerve. And he was like, yeah, that's your body telling you that something is not okay. And like, he's like, and like, I was like, oh, I'm not sleeping. I have a baby who sleeps for like an hour at a time. And he's like, yeah, that's your body. And it was a real wake up call. Like I had to make an appointment to get a massage because it was all I could really do. And it was the most painful massage of my life. Because I was like, you have to get it out because I can't not hold my baby for any more days. Like this is ridiculous. I ended up like buying a membership to Hand and Stone massage because I was like, this will make me like go, right? Once a month, I will take an hour and a half for myself. That will force me to do that for me, because really all else I do is I take care of my kids during the day. I work when I can at home, and then I'm at the studio at night, and then I try to have some family time at night. But that's my entire life. And I will tell you, I have not scheduled a second massage yet, but I do have the membership, so it's going to happen. But
you have to schedule it, Kate. You have to schedule
it. Yes. And I have to like
here, go online and schedule your massage.
I should. I definitely should. We're so crazy here at work. My schedule for the next like 3 weeks is so crazy. I'm almost like, I want to do at the end of March and beginning of April, I want to do like a 2-hour massage. So I'm like, maybe I'll bank them and then really enjoy a massage. But yeah, it's very eye-opening to figure out like, this doesn't work for me. This does work for me. Like it's funny, Ginger and I, we're best friends and we work so differently. And so she was like, oh, I used to just sit and nurse and be on the computer and get so much work done. And I try to nurse and work on the computer. And my son is like, boom, boom, like throwing his hands around. And he's like, hey, what's on the screen? And I'm like, I can't have my work laptop anywhere near you because you're going to destroy it. So that's not a good time for me to work. And I had to figure that out the hard way. Even with the phone, it's too much of a distraction for him. So it's just very funny. And I love hearing from everybody else. And like, I also like hearing that you guys are having like very similar struggles to what I have gone through and figuring that out. Like it makes me feel, I'm always like, I'm a terrible mom. I can't dedicate all of my time to my kids, or I can't dedicate all my time to the dance school. And I don't like that people are also struggling, but it makes me feel like, oh, we're all in this together and we just have to, bind together about it. So that's
make time for yourself. You have to make time for yourself.
Society has given us this idea of what a working mom is supposed to be, and it's just not. It's not a healthy ideal. It's really not. Like you got to do things on your own terms. What works best for you, and if it's just dedicating time to nursing your child, then that's it. And then finding something else for another time. That
absolutely
it's all about you. I mean, and nobody's perfect. We can't all be perfect. I'd be exhausted if we all just exhausting.
This time has also shown me that I don't want to go back to the way I was before the pandemic. We were so overly booked that like the worst probably part of the pandemic for me and my family was we haven't seen my husband's family in 2 years because they're up in Maine. And every time we've tried to plan something, they've had high numbers and they didn't feel comfortable with us coming because they didn't want to get the kids sick. So that's a huge thing. But I was out every night if I was working at my theater or working for the studio, or if we were going to events or we going to visit this person or having a party here. I don't ever want to do that again. I'm like, I want to stick to like max one thing a weekend and then have a family day, right? Like my core 4, we're very close to my parents. Thank God bless them that they have been in my bubble since the beginning because they had to be. And it's been very helpful. But like getting back to those basics of let's play a board game and just enjoy. My husband and I started playing card games again when we have time. And that was a huge eye opener for me as well. I don't know if that.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. Like that is one thing I actually, as much as it was, I miss being able to go places. I also didn't mind just not having a packed schedule. And I learned that, and I think I kind of didn't know this about myself even prior to the pandemic. I really don't like having super busy weekends because then I feel like I never got to stop. I never got a break. So I really try to balance out my weekends now that things are picking up and there's events and parties happening. And I'm like, try to be more selective about what I say yes to. And it's not just me, it's like the kids because they have their own social calendar. So it's really their stuff, honestly.
Yeah,
but
definitely it's quality over quantity, right?
Right. So I try to balance the weekend so we're not just running the entire weekend.
Right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I got an invitation for a kid's birthday party, and I was actually mad. I'm like, yes, it's going to take time out of our relaxing Saturday. Why do we have to do this? My husband's so used to not going to all these birthday parties, you know?
I just scheduled my daughter's birthday party for next Saturday, and my husband's like, why did you schedule a birthday party? I was like, oh, we're going to do it. I mean, like, we're having it at a park, so it's outside with the neighborhood kids that are, on her bus and everything with school. And I'm like, it's at the park. It's 2 hours. We're done at 3:00. All done. It's not at our house. We don't have strangers or weirdos coming to our house.
That's the key, right? Keep them out of your house so you don't have to do massive cleaning, right? Like
exactly.
That's a stress. I've learned
Dominoes delivered to the park. And
I even did Thomas's birthday last year because it was 35 degrees outside. His birthday's at the end of January, but we did it at a park.
Oh wow!
After lunchtime, so it was Johnson Park you all know Johnson Park. So they got to see the animals. They could play on the playground. They could see the water. We handed out little pots at the end. Like people came out that I didn't even think would come out because it was outdoors. We all wore masks, and it was amazing. And of course, this year we didn't do anything because it was Omicron, but it was nice because I was like, I didn't have to worry that I might not have scrubbed my sink fully. Like, you know what I mean? Like that right before a party. I get like that. I try to keep my house relatively clean because I have a dog who sheds like crazy. So I can't take that. But, the mad rush of like, everything has to be placed and the brand new, like put the fresh towels that nobody's touched, don't touch those towels. And like, it's so stressful that by the time you get to the party, it's like, I'm exhausted already and they just got here. So I definitely like moving things outdoors and, having smaller gatherings at the house that don't have to be as stressful. That's also been very eye-opening.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anybody else want to add anything else?
I just wanted to add one thing in response to what you were saying about like mom guilt. And I just really think that we really have to stop that. I think that we're all doing amazing. I think if you really reflect, you know that you're doing a great job. And I just think as moms, I feel this way. So I know if I feel this way, probably other moms feel this way. Like we're so hard on ourselves and we're just way too hard on ourselves. And it just it only adds to the stress, right? So I think we just have to kind of relax, do our best, but our best is going to vary from day to day, from moment to moment, right? Depending on what's going on, how we feel, what our calendar looks like, what our responsibilities are at that given moment. So we got to be easy on ourselves and give ourselves more grace.
Yep. And you know what I find funny about that, and I'm a number one culprit of this, is that I will preach to moms all the time. You are doing amazing. You are awesome. You're doing everything right. The fact that you're even concerned means that you're doing great. Like all of this stuff. And I don't listen to that for myself. Like I was telling the ambassadors yesterday in our meeting, listen, you have to take care of yourself. If you need a nap and you're not, I said, don't do it in school, obviously, because they're like, during my break. And I'm like, no, not during school. When you're home and you're cranky, maybe you need a nap. Maybe you need some protein. Maybe you need to go take a walk. Maybe you need to do some yoga. Like find that thing. And I think that I think a lot of us moms are really willing to uplift all other moms like you're doing amazing, but we cannot reflect that back onto, or not cannot, but I have a hard time looking back at that because I'm like, oh, I yelled at my kid today because he wouldn't listen for the 15th time and I lost it, and then he was upset and cried. But I tried 15 times very quietly and that didn't work. So, you know, it's those moments that stick in my brain that always make me feel terrible. And I'm like, what about all the other wins that I had today, right? And my husband will come home and be like, look, they're fed, they're in clean clothes. The one went to school, the other one took a nap. That is a win, right? Like right there, everybody's alive and thriving. So that was my last question. Like, if there's any words, and that was great to segue there. So like, what do you want to say to moms or even dads that are out there watching this? Because parenting is hard, no matter where you are in the spectrum of it. And what are some encouraging words that you can give them as we're, you know, winding down with this, and just to make us all feel better where we are, even though we're all in different places?
I mean, you said it best, Kate. We got to take care of ourselves. No matter how hard it is, no matter how stressful things may get, at the end of the day, and I think this is how we started the conversation, you really have to find time for yourself, take care of yourself. Because if you're not good, you can't be good to anyone else. And that includes spouse, that includes the kids. So first and foremost, you have to take care of yourself, make sure that you are okay, mentally, physically, making sure that, you know, you're well rested. And, you know, once that core is taken care of, then everything else just kind of starts to fall into place.
Yeah, that always reminds me of being on the airplane when they're like, put the mask on yourself first. So that you can then handle the rest.
Exactly.
I always think of that because I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like when I'm way low or I haven't slept in 3 days and I'm trying to just function as a human being, I am not at my best as a mom or as a wife or as anything. So it's definitely, you know, definitely a very high priority that we need to put at the high. We're not taking a break. We're not slacking off. We are getting ourselves together to be better.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think just encouraging each other. I know, Kate, you were saying you're good at uplifting other moms. For me, that helps me to feel good about myself when I'm able to encourage others. So, you know, use that to just encourage yourself, that you're encouraging others, and whoever is in your small circle, you know, encourage each other and take whatever compliment or whatever good things they're saying to you or about you. I feel like, you know, that just helps us to keep going as well. Just be encouraging to others, and whatever encouragement you're getting, take it to heart and say, okay, I am doing a good job. I am doing the best that I can do, and just take it from there. So,
absolutely. Yeah, great advice. Anybody else? I see Tawana's on here. She was saying she definitely agreed with what we were saying earlier, and that she's the queen hard on herself. So you were doing a great job, Tawana, and way to go.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Make sure you're resting. Make sure you're getting plenty of water. Take that time to yourself.
Plenty
Your
of
kids
water.
will appreciate it later.
Yeah. The self-care, I mean, that is, I will say, you know, we have to remember that self-care is not selfish.
Right.
You know, think of it that way. And like Danielle said it so well, you know, if we don't take care of ourselves, then we're not going to be able to really be there for those that need us. And not just our kids, our spouses, parents, friends. So it's just really vital. And then, you know, we have to watch our self-talk, because we all have like these thoughts, these things that we say to, you know, to ourselves in our heads. We may not say it out loud, and oftentimes it's negative. And, you know, we just have to like stop those negative thoughts from playing in our head and replace it with a positive one. And, you know, we can do that. We can do that. Yeah. I'm really big on affirmations. Something that's really helped me tremendously. Because I have those negative thoughts that play in my head. So the affirmations really counteract those thoughts. So I recommend that for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, with our positivity project here, with the affirmations that we gave out to the kids, that the kids gave to each other on their Post-it notes, like they were just so encouraging. And I'm like, look at this. And some of them were just so moved by it, and it made me feel better. And I was in our meeting with the ambassadors last night, I was like, guys, that doesn't need to stop now. Like, continue that when you're in your classes. Constantly be affirming them, because you don't know what kind of impact you are going to have on anybody. So make it all positive, and then you could be that person. Like, you know, my first dance teacher is from Center Stage, and I am still friends with her. She performs in theater, so I know her, and she's worked with my dad for years and stuff. And she was the reason I wanted to become a dance teacher. And you know, I knew that at 5, and I never thought that would happen. And we've been here since, you know, January 2010. And Ginger's like, you want to help me open a dance school? Like, it's amazing. And I'm sure she had no idea the kind of impact that she might have been having on me, but she made me love dance and want to do this, and not just dance, but be with kids. And you know, the whole, I always say to people, like, I may be a director and a dance teacher, but that's not all I do at the school. I'm you know, here for the kids as much as I can be. And I want them to feel good all the time. And if they can have a safe place to go, because I know school is hard and life is hard, and mental health is just so big right now, that like, let them come here and just dance it out and smile and be who they are and be confident in that. And so I definitely think that the positive affirmations, I mean, I even have an app now that comes with my watch and gives me an affirmation like every couple of hours. Just
me too.
It just makes me smile.
I need that app.
I thought it was such a like silly thing. I was like, let me try this. It's gonna be so silly. Like a day I'm gonna be sick of it. And I still get them. And like after a while, if I haven't got one, I'm like, where's my affirmation? Like I'm feeling down. I need something. And sometimes they're like so spot on to whatever I'm going through in my life, that like, and that's probably me just reading into it and making it connect, but it's so good. Let's see, what's the app? It's called I Am. Is the one that I use?
Oh my, I am using the same exact one. That's
it goes right to my Apple Watch.
And you know what's like, so funny? I did it as a trial, right? But now I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep it because it's just really so needed.
It
really, and it's really not bad. It's not like it's affordable.
No, and it's you can make it do like less or more, whatever, however it fits you. I think mine does like every 3 hours I get one. So like I'm walking to pick up my son, and I might be lost in thought, and then that comes through, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
So
absolutely.
Another app I use is the Calm app. When I'm having a really hard time to like focus at work, I'll put headphones in and listen to rain falling or something silly. But I was having trouble sleeping. My dad was in the hospital, and I was dealing with a whole bunch of family stuff and top of work and my kids, and I was really having a hard time sleeping. So I was like, you know what? I'm paying for this app. I need it. And there's this guy from Game of Thrones who reads bedtime stories. And it helped me mellow out. It was the greatest thing ever.
It was awesome.
The silliest little thing, but it just helped me. I passed out listening to this guy read a random bedtime story.
I've heard of the Calm app. I haven't tried that one, but I do go to music. Like when I feel myself getting overly stressed, I literally will just go to my Pandora and find a station, whatever. It might have different stations. So it's like whatever I feel like I need in that moment. It might be like jazz music. It might be classical music. I might be feeling sad and want to hear something upbeat. So I'll put on like hip hop. Music helps me to like shift whatever it is that I'm going through. So yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, I like the Calm app. When I used to use my Fitbit, they also have meditation on there, like 2-3 minute ones that I used to do, especially when Henry was very, very little, because I would just be losing my mind, stressing, and I was like, I'm stuck here nursing and I can't do anything. What am I going to do? It would just totally bring me down. And I also use an app for Thomas. It's called Breathe Kids, and they're meditations for kids, and that has helped him learn to self-calm as well. So he was at time was
Breathe
really Breathe Kids. I think there's like an adult version as well. But they have like little pictures, and they tell you what to do and like to breathe up and down, and they do it with like there's bulldog stories and stuff there. It's so cute. And he, for a number of months, that was like the only way he could go to sleep, was if he laid there with obviously it's on a device, it's not great, but he was able to like put himself to bed because it would bring him down from being so excited that daddy was home and he was finally time to play. And then it was like, all of a sudden it's bath time and then got to go to bed. And that was like a huge helper during the pandemic because it was all of a sudden he was like not able to put himself to bed. So it made a huge difference. So, you know, passing along, you know, I don't want to practice something myself and then not, you know, share it with my kid who might benefit from it. So it's also a great thing. And then I think he was really interested because he'd see me doing the meditation or whatever, just even for 2 or 3 minutes, and he would calm down. So I think he wanted something that was more related to him. So that's how I found that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's great. All right, ladies. Well, if there's nothing else that we want to talk about, I think we will finish this up. For those of you watching, thank you so much for watching. I will have a one-on-one. It won't be on a Wednesday. It will be a Saturday. But I'm going to speak to another dance mom, Miss Jolette, because she was not able to join us tonight. So we're going to do a one-on-one together then. And ladies, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I think there are some really great comments here. Everybody was really liking the realness of the chat. And I really appreciate you all taking this on and taking some time out of your time, which I know is precious, and talking here. So thank you so much. I hope you all have.
Kate. Thank you.
This has been awesome.
Great.
Thanks for including me.
Of course. All right. And I will reach out again if we want to do this again, maybe. Maybe we'll do something else.
That's good.
But I hope you all have a wonderful night. And we will see you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.